In an effort to achieve maximum productivity, focus, and time management, I've decided to follow Elon Musk's daily schedule for 7 days. Why would I do something like this, you might ask? If this is our first time meeting, my name is Derek. I am a self-improvement junkie that will do absolutely everything in my power to squeeze every ounce of time out of my day. Time, after all, is our greatest resource. After reading that Elon Musk reduced his weekly work schedule from 120 hours per week down to 80, it made me realize how much more I could be pushing myself. If a super successful billionaire like Elon can put in 80 hours a week, then what's my excuse? To be perfectly honest, I don't have one. Procrastination has been an enormous thorn in my side for as long as I can remember, and for whatever reason, I can't seem to shake its grasp. Every chance it gets, procrastination rears its ugly head in my life and convinces me that my work can be finished later. Oh, I wonder what's happening on Facebook. Instagram? You can do it after lunch. Wait, do it later. Did you see that new TikTok dance? However common these thoughts may be, whenever an opportunity arises to slack off, procrastination is there to guide you like an unwanted friend, poisoning your mind to choose a comfortable option over the one you know would absolutely better your life. Well, today is the day I conquer procrastination once and for all, or at least try to. So this is my attempt at trying Elon Musk's daily schedule for 7 days. Okay, so I just finished going over whatever information I could find on Elon Musk's daily schedule. Now, he does this weird thing which is called time boxing, where he plans out his entire day in 5-minute intervals. Now, I thought about this, and I don't think I'd be able to maintain that or stay consistent with tracking every 5 minutes of my day. So what I did was, I planned out what my typical day would look like. Now, one of the main goals for this challenge, or that I wanted to do, was he has this intense work ethic of working up to 80 or 90 hours a week. And he splits most of his time between SpaceX and Tesla. Now, I do have a day job and I do have this YouTube channel. So in some ways, I do spend my time across 2 different jobs. So there were some similarities there. So I'm going to try my best to see if I can plan out every single day, or at least every half an hour of my day for the next 7 days, and try to get 80 hours of work in. I know this is an extremely optimistic goal, but I think with proper planning, I should be able to do this. The only other thing that I didn't like about Elon's schedule was that he goes to bed at 1 a.m. and then he wakes up at 7. So at most, he's only getting like 6 hours of sleep. And I don't know, that just doesn't seem like enough for me, as I'm a huge believer in getting a full 7 or 8 hours of sleep. So the only difference in our schedules will be the time that I go to bed. So I'll be trying to go to bed at 11, and I'll maintain waking up at 7 like he does. So right now, this is actually the night before day 1. So we just finished planning everything out, and it is 11 o'clock on the dot. So I'm going to head to bed, and we'll see how day 1 goes tomorrow. So this is 7 days of Elon Musk's insane schedule. So it's 7:28 right now. I got about 2 more minutes until we start work at 7:30. So the plan is going to be to work from 7:30 until 10 every day to get in a good 2.5 hours of work. In the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy my coffee for a little bit. But I'm going to be spending this time mostly on writing, brainstorming ideas, and working on these YouTube videos. So hopefully this 2.5 hours will enable me to get a lot of work in. And I don't know, we'll see where the day goes. All right, let's get to work. Okay, so the lighting isn't the best in this room, but right now it's 10:31. So I just finished up some family time and now I'm going to hit out a workout. So my workout is basically just going to be a simple home workout routine where I do a lot of body weight movements, kind of like push-ups, pull-ups, and squats, that type of thing. So the plan is going to be workout from 10:30 until about 11, and then get some more work in. So it's 11 o'clock right now. We just finished up hitting our workout. And one thing I've noticed already that I'm really enjoying about this schedule is, especially in the morning when I had a time slotted to do my work for YouTube at 7:30, right when 7:30 hit, I immediately just went to my desk and I just got on this amazing workflow, and I was just being super productive and I was coming up with all these ideas, and I did a straight 2.5 hours of work, which was really good, as normally I'm kind of all over the place. I'm kind of sporadic with my ideas, and I'll kind of do a bunch of random things and procrastinate, but I really buckled down and did a solid 2.5 hours of writing, really. And that was really nice, having that structure to know that I had the specific time frame dedicated to writing, and that's all that I was going to do. So right now we have another 2.5 hours of work to do before lunch, and after that it's heading out to work. So we'll see if this session of writing goes as good as the first. So far so good. Okay, so I finished the second 2.5 hour session of working on my YouTube channel. Now, the first session I spent mostly writing, and the second session I did a little bit of editing. Now, one thing that I've noticed about this Elon Musk schedule is that it's very productive, but extremely hectic. I feel super rushed whenever I'm doing anything. And I guess, that's kind of the drawback, where you can't really take your time because he's more focused on, being super productive and not wasting any minute of the day. So I was able to get my 5 hours of work in this afternoon, and I had some lunch, and now I had to head out to my day job. So we got another 6 hours lined up at my job today, and then we'll see how the rest of Elon's schedule works out. As I continued to work through the morning, one of Elon's quotes popped into my mind. If you work 80 hours a week and your competition is working 40 hours a week, then at the end of 1 year, you will have progressed twice as fast as them. However simplistic this quote may be, Musk does have a point. The person who is willing to put in double the work, make double the sacrifices for a long-term vision, will come out on top in the end. This idea gave me fuel as extra motivation to keep pushing through the day and achieve a level of discipline I have not entered before. So this wraps up day 2. It's just before 12:30 at night right now. And one idea that I was thinking about or contemplating was the sustainability of this work schedule that Elon has. Now, I know before I started this was going to be a complete challenge to myself. And to be perfectly honest, I wanted to find out what was possible. Now, for day 2, I ended up pretty much doing everything the same as day 1. I was able to get both my YouTube sessions in, my shift at work, and I got a 30-minute workout in at home. So far, it's been pretty exhilarating. The nonstop action of Elon's schedule, or even just my modified version of Elon's schedule, is so much more different than what I do in my regular day-to-day life. There's just so much more focus and attention on time management, and just making sure you don't fall behind. So that is one thing that I really noticed so far. And again, this is only 2 days. So, but I'm still questioning what is the overall sustainability of this type of schedule. That is the true question that I want to explore. Can I realistically put in 80 hours of work or put in something close to 80 hours of work a week in order to achieve my dreams of this channel? So, gonna head to bed kind of late. We are gonna have to wake up in about, 6.5 hours from now. So I'll get as much as sleep as I can, and we'll prepare for tomorrow. It's Saturday, day 4 right now. And so far, the first 3 days of this challenge have been pretty good, as I've worked a total of 34 hours for the week. Now, I know that this is just slightly below pace for 80, which is the target that I'm trying to hit. Now, today is going to be extremely important because this is a time where I'm normally at my day job. And so I'm going to need to make sure that I remain productive from 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And it's also going to be very important that I remain productive tomorrow during Sunday as well. I didn't really see the point in showing you guys too much of day 2, 3, or 4, since it's basically the exact same stuff as day 1. Now, day 5 just ended, and this is an important day because we just finished up the weekend. Now, during the weekend, I don't have to go to my day job, so I need to make sure that I was extremely disciplined when it came to tracking the amount of work and dedication I put towards this YouTube channel. Now that I've had a full 5 days to fully work out this Elon Musk schedule, I can actually reflect on what I've done so far. Now, one thing that has been extremely difficult is the sense of urgency you have when it comes to working. Now, I don't even know how does Elon track every 5 minutes of his day? That's just so crazy. I can't even fathom how he does that, because I'm only tracking half an hour of my day. And I still find that very tedious and time consuming, as it feels like I'm always racing against a clock. There's always something that has to be done, and it just keeps going and going and going, and I never get a chance to breathe. I know that's probably a really weak thing to say, as it's only been 5 days, but it's been an incredibly exhausting 5 days, as I think I've worked a total of 57 hours so far. And it's not really the hours that's getting me, it's the extreme attention to detail that every half an hour I gotta make sure I'm doing something that's on my schedule for the day. And especially during Saturday and Sunday, what really affected me was not being able to spend the normal amount of time I have with my family. And it's hard. That's just the truth, and it's tough. What I'm starting to realize is that Elon Musk is an incredibly unique individual. And I can't really see it, but I can almost feel the type of dedication and love that he has for his vision of SpaceX and Tesla. Because to have this level of dedication, you need to make so many sacrifices that it just feels insurmountable and overwhelming at times. I'm no Elon Musk, but I think my intent with this video was to learn from the extreme amount of discipline that this guy has, as he clearly has a vision and goal in his mind of what he wants to do in the future. And I also have a clear vision in my mind of what I want to achieve with my life. So if there's any way that I could learn from his routine or learn from his habits, then it's in my best interest to do so. I'm still not sure how I feel about this idea of tracking every single moment of your day in order to achieve maximum productivity. Now, I do believe that productivity is extremely important, but I think I'm going to need the remaining 2 days to finish this challenge and kind of think about what I've done and think about the pros and cons and how it's affected me. Anyway, I know this is only day 5 and I still have 2 more days to go, so I want to try to at least finish out the challenge and then spend some time to reflect on what I actually think about this extreme level of discipline and give you a more well thought out answer in the end. Oh man, look at that. 12 o'clock on the dot. So this was day 7, we just finished up the challenge. I kind of made a miscalculation and I was 1 hour short. So I couldn't finish at 11 because I just realized I left work half an hour early on 2 different days. So I ended up with 79 hours. So I just pushed through this last hour from 11 to 12 to hit 80, which feels more of a relief than anything. This last day and these last couple hours were just, I don't know, it was kind of an end to a nice long grind and successful challenge. So I don't even know what I'm saying right now. My brain is fried. I'm definitely not used to this level of productivity. It's way too much for me, or at least I think it is. So I'm gonna get some sleep and then I'll give you my final thoughts tomorrow. Okay, so now that I've had some time to think about this past week, I want to go over the things I liked about the schedule, the things I disliked, and if this is something that I would recommend trying for yourself. In total for the week, I just barely made it to 80 hours. I think I ended up working about 30 hours total for my day job, 50 hours on my YouTube channel, and then I spent about 5 hours total commuting to and from work, 3.5 hours exercising, and on average I got about 7 hours of sleep per night. I did keep track of all my workouts as well, and I ended up doing about 289 push-ups, 114 pull-ups, and I think it was 453 squats in total for the week. Now, these numbers seem kind of weird because usually people will do sets of 10 for their exercises, but I had to adjust my routine because I'm not generally used to working out every day. Instead of doing my normal 30 pull-ups each day, what I did was I cut that number in half to 15. This way I could do 15 pull-ups every single day, and then I wouldn't burn out a specific muscle group on my body. This way I could maintain the workouts daily without getting too sore. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of this whole Elon Musk time boxing idea. The first thing I must say is that this has hands down been the most productive week of my life, without a doubt. I've never been able to put in an 80-hour work week before, and I think the most I've ever done is probably like 65. I don't believe there is anything particularly special about time boxing, but knowing exactly what you're going to be doing at like 7, 7:30, 8, and so on gives you this type of structure to your day that eliminates all the guesswork. You don't have to stop and think about what you should do or what you need to do, as it's all planned out for you already. I think the biggest obstacle most of us face in our daily lives is that initial momentum. Once you get the ball rolling, it's a lot easier to keep adding to that velocity of success. Whereas if you are starting from a standstill and you haven't done anything productive yet, it's extremely difficult to get going. I'm almost certain this is why most self-development books recommend making your bed in the morning. By making your bed, you are starting your day off with a small win. The magnitude of that win is irrelevant. What's important is just getting that first task done to set yourself up for the second, third, and fourth. Another thing I noticed about myself was that how powerful the mind is and what it's truly capable of. If you sit down and really set your mind to accomplishing a specific goal, not only are you becoming more productive, but you become intentional with your time. You know exactly what you're going to do before you do it. Now, there are a few negative aspects of time boxing that I didn't really enjoy. Having such a rigid schedule doesn't give you any wiggle room for the unexpected problems of life. This probably works great for Elon because he can just pay someone to clean his house or have someone do the maintenance on his car. But for us regular people, a lot of these tasks need to be done by ourselves in order to save money. Like if I were to order takeout food for every meal of the day, my bill for the week would be insane, and that's something I just can't afford to do in my current financial situation. Another thing I didn't like was that it felt like I was living a schedule rather than living my life. There are times where I appreciate the ability to be spontaneous and go out and do random things that come up in the moment. This sounds kind of weird, but by having so much structure in my life, I miss the unstructured moments of chaos that makes life interesting. And sometimes randomness can be fun. Okay, so who would I recommend the schedule for? The most obvious choice would be someone that doesn't have a lot of responsibilities, expenses, or kids. If you are someone, for example, that's trying to save money and living with your parents, then this is a perfect time to adopt a daily schedule centered around maximizing productivity and time management. But for the rest of us, I question the long-term viability of this type of workload. Even for someone like myself, this challenge was only possible because of my wife Tina. She takes care of our daughter and all of this stuff around the house. If it wasn't for her, then there was no way I could even attempt an 80-hour work week, unless I only slept like 4 hours a night or something, which isn't healthy. Moving forward, I will continue to time box my mornings in 30-minute intervals, as I found this to be extremely beneficial and it's pretty easy to follow. However, I'm not going to follow any specific structure for the evenings. My goal is going to be no work after 8 p.m. I still believe that maintaining some form of work-life balance is important, and currently working 80 hours per week just isn't sustainable for me in the long term, which is something that also it doesn't align with my current goal of slow improvement. So hopefully you guys found this video helpful, as I put an extreme amount of effort in showing you all the highs and lows of my journey. And maybe this will inspire you to work a little bit harder, or maybe dial it back if you already work too much. Whatever the case, know that there is no best schedule. There is only what's best for you. And if you haven't found that yet, keep searching and trying new things until you do. Thanks for watching.